Fum Yanza, Mafedi Fum Uya. To each and every one of you guys, first of all, I want to say salutations to my Madrina, to my Padrino, to my Oba, and to all of my brothers and sisters in Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Lukumi, Congo, Palo, Mystic, and Adjays. Thank you, all of those that have been supporting Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. In the works that I do. I'm if you do not know, I am the chief apostle of Apostolic Faith of Jesus Christ Incorporated, and my beliefs are deeply rooted in the ATRS. Those are the African traditional religions by which you harness, direct, and disperse energy, frequency, and vibration. Sir and ma'am, this is going to be a learning experience. I have a conjure class coming up this Saturday, and I'm going to explain some shiggity unto you. To each and every one of you guys, first of all, I want to say hello to Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Aquarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, and Virgo. What's up there, Demetrius? Early rising unto thee. I did a TikTok video. I'll be putting on my YouTube channel. What's up, my 69, my Aquarius? That's right. It don't matter which way you look it, it's still lit. What's up, my Ryan, my Libra? That cuz is going to be. What the song say? Juicy got them grades. It's going to be juicy, Dimitri. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be burst. It's going to be burst. I'm very excited I'm also glad that the level of the energy around that class is only $175. It's been a long time waiting. I wanted to make sure I was in the best of condition to give my class. I always have a thing about have standards, and there's a standard that people have come to know when it comes to my workings, and so therefore I don't want anything to drop beneath that standard. Raise it higher, but not beneath. I want to say to each and every one of you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you my subject matter on my day of power. I've been out doing work around my property, and I got to do the church. And what's up there, Grand Rising to you? This is going to be educational purposes, because I have a lot of people, melanated people, that came up in church, and they practice hoodoo in the closet, voodoo and other ATRs in the closet. I'm out of the closet. What I want to explain in a universal context, not understanding your spiritual makeup, not understanding energetically that energy cannot be destroyed. A lot of times when you're hearing people all over social media telling you to do this and do that, you're not doing that conscious of if I apply my energy to this working, my energy cannot be destroyed. And there's certain workings, and there was certain advice that I was even given. I don't know why people think I don't know what to do. I don't know. I was schooled very, very early. I've been doing magic since like 3 to 4 years old, and I had a spiritual teacher at 13. So I'm not saying I can't learn nothing, but I don't know why at my point, I'm 52 years old, why they thought sharing certain things, or I did not consider certain things. But I digress. Now, on my day of power, I'm going to utilize the energy of Jupiter. Jupiter is also an energy that my Orisha, my Fedifunyanza, and Oya does harness that energy, and her ability to work with lightning and all those concepts. I want y'all to understand something before I say this. I'm a Sagittarius, Moon in Aries, and Rising sign Pisces. I'm not sharing this because I'm trying to change somebody's mind. I am sharing this to present the facts. We're in the age of Aquarius. facts matter. And it should matter to you as a grown man or grown woman. It doesn't matter what you're practicing or whether you practice it at all. I want to talk about today urine magic in the ATRs. I want to explain energetically why urine is all have been for millions of years utilizing magic, what it consists of, why people do it, why you should understand the pros and cons of working with your own urine. Okay? I was advised to there was a animal that was placed in my yard, and somebody said you should piss on it or release your urine. So I'm gonna explain urine magic, and I'm gonna give you the facts around urine magic, and hopefully that you will proceed with caution, listening at people on social media, whether this social media or TikTok or any form. You need to consider the pros and cons of certain type of magic, because energy cannot be destroyed, transmuted but not destroyed. And once you participate in a type of working, remember this: your energy is eternal. Okay? First of all, we want to understand what urine is. So urine is a watery, typically yellowish fluid stored in the bladder, and it discharges through the urethra. It is one of the body's chief means of eliminating excess water and salt. So we want to know the compounds, just like hoodoo, conjure. You want to know what's in the water, or what the ingredients inside the gregory bag, the ingredients inside the candle. You got to know the compounds or the energy that is in the urine. And its main job is to get rid of excess water and salt. It also contains nitrogen compounds such as urea and other waste substance removed from the blood by the kidneys. So when you're doing blood magic, because remember, urine is a byproduct of blood, your blood. Okay? The reason we use and have used urine predominantly is in domination work. I'm going to explain. I want you to understand. Urine is just like menstrual blood from a woman. It is to dominate the person or the situation. Now, we use urine to, just like animals, to seal or to dominate our territory. This is why animals, or the cats, or whether it's a lion or a tiger, any cat, feline, they smell the urine of another beast. The same concept why a man would use his urine to consecrate, because that's what I do. The reason when you saturate your grounds, your earth element, with your urine, you're placing your spirit to dominate that area. The reason why that was not good advice, pissing or urinating on a particular trick, because you don't know what's all been done to that trick. And you don't want to put yourself or your spirit in harm's way by giving your blood to a working that was designed or had the intention of hurting or harming or unaliving you. I want you to understand why that was not wisdom. Listening at people that don't know the pros and cons of magic and magical spells and why they're utilized in certain traditions. All those that feeding somebody your urine to dominate them makes you responsible for them. That's what you're not learning about magic. If your spirit is going to dominate that person, then you're going to be responsible for whatever happens or goes on with that person. Because that person, if you are successful, sir, in dominating her or him, or whatever, you should have the understanding of why you do domination work and what comes along with dominating somebody's spirit. Just like it's not wisdom to give your menstrual cycle or your blood to a man. What if that man is stronger than you? This is what I'm trying to say about this particular word. I don't want my spirit or spirits to be overpowered because I don't believe they fix that themselves. Nobody goes up against me and not consider who I am and what I have the capabilities of doing. So I don't know how many energies on what all was prepared, because nobody is going to go up against me and not prepare for backlash. I'm a very, very aggressive person. I'm going to say it again. So therefore, they're going to take all kind of precaution, whether it was good enough or not. Didn't Lex Luthor tell Superman, didn't your father teach you to look before you leap? I don't care how confident you are, you still dealing with energy, frequency, and vibration. And I don't care what you feel that is walking with you, you should never proceed forward with both feet. I'm not going to underestimate nobody working. I don't care how great I am at what I do. I'm 52. I'm not 20. I did a lot of reckless stuff when I was younger because I was power tripping. You ain't stronger than me. My mama said they don't have to be stronger than you. You leaving too many doors open. You are definitely stronger than them. I'm get that. Virgo gave me that. But what you're doing and how you doing it, you're leaving yourself too open. Somebody said that's good counsel. So I ain't never not had people, because I got more than one person that cares about me. I never had to be surrounded by ignorance. I did some ignorant stuff because I was power tripping. I was young, full of calm and all that. So energetically, I was feeling myself, but I was not operating in wisdom. I don't care how strong you are, you need to protect the bat cave. Okay? So to utilize my urine in that particular setting up under those particular circumstances is to me no different than you putting yourself in a souring jar. You putting yourself in a destruction work. The average person with common sense would never do that. I'm not gonna apply my energy. What I did was I already had saturated my yard. That's why it's not good to go into a spiritualist environment because they already have certain protections. They have certain essence of themselves all around their property. I'm just going to say it. They already have certain essence of themselves spread about their property. And depending on how strong the spirit of that particular person. Now, reason why I'm saying this, I'm still recovering, not recovered. I'm still recovering all. So when you have a damaged kidney or liver or both, that means that your kidney, because your body, the urine is creating alchemy. You're a melanated individual, and there's a certain alchemical that is produced from your urine, but through your kidney. And if your kidney is damaged or it is not up to par, it's not producing the same chemical in your urine that it would be if you were healthy. That's why I teach about protecting and taking care of your organs. So I have been feeding my kidneys and my liver and my sexual organs the nutrients, but I know I'm not there. I'm not 98, but I ain't 100. But the fact that I'm coming and I'm still in recovery, that would be no wisdom. You understand? If your kidney is damaged, that means your urine cannot produce the same alchemical that it would. Now, the reason why it works and why we use baby, you have heard people using baby urine to clean their skin because it is a type of ammonia or a type of acidity that is in the urine that kills bacteria. That's why your urinary tract, if it's healthy, the urine actually cleans and purifies. That's why they tell you that urine is a purifier. But that's why, because of the acid and the ammonia-like substance that flows to your urinary tract. If your urinary tract is infected, your urine is not the same. So a lot of things need to be considered before you use bodily fluids in certain countries. Remember, energy cannot be destroyed. So once I place my bodily fluids or urine, or you choose to use blood magic, which is your menstrual blood, you're attaching your energy that is eternal to a working that was not designed for you. This is why you should leave magic to the professionals. Listening at random advice from people that think they know it all, because they don't understand the duality when it comes to that real. But on my platform, I teach melanated people universal laws. I try to keep it simple that a fool will not err. The purpose of doing that. Now, do I use my urine? Absolutely yes. Anything that belongs to me, I'm gonna dominate. I'm here. That's what the signature is doing. I'm here. This is my territory. Enter at your own risk. There is a reason in every ATR why it is done. But there's a wisdom attached to that. My kids are, oh my God, that he urinated. Nigga, you came out of the same sack, the same urinary tract. You are my blood. That's why we got bloodline. We got to get over the shock of some people. Not understanding your energy, your frequency, your vibration, and applying your essence to certain workings that are not beneficial to you, your existence, or your outcome, or your future. It is not wisdom. It is not having the clear understanding that my energy cannot be destroyed. Transmuted, transformed, but not destroyed. And therefore, I don't want my energy a part of a nasty working like that. I want to be able to dominate when it is necessary. That's why you hear me say domination work is not love work. A lot of people cloak their titles in their conjure or their recipes in working. I have some domination powder. That is not love work. If I want to dominate on a court case, if I want to dominate on other things, that is my energy is going to be aggressive in the particular working. When you're utilizing blood magic, which is urine magic, that is for your spirit, or your spirit, your ego. Remember, your spirits come down through your blood, and your blood is being filtered by the kidney. That's why it actually works. That's the energy behind urine magic. But the thing is, when you're trying to dominate somebody you're not stronger than, I'm going to say that again. How do you know, without careful consideration, that this person that I am attempting to dominate, I got to dominate him and them spirits. I got to dominate her and them spirits. Her egos come along with that working. So when you go out to dominate somebody, and if you are successful, you are universally contracted to take care of that person. That's why you should have a purpose, or why you have a need to dominate somebody. Doing domination spells on every random person you sleep with, and you wonder why your health is failing, your kidneys are failing, you keep ending up with urinary tract infections, because that energy got to come from you, from your organs, to keep dominating that particular person or those particular people. They didn't tell y'all that it is. You're not in a place. You need to be taught before you start implementing certain working. Because at the very least, right or wrong, at least you know the consequences behind your action. At the very least, I know when I go into that situation, I'm very much conscious mentally, not subconscious. I am conscious of the fact involved before I do that work. And if I choose to do it, I know the complication and the ramification around that. That's why teaching is important. That's why you need to be up on the leader. That's why you need to be listening up under that leader. That's why you need to be following direction up under that leadership. That's why you shouldn't be going out because you think you... Let me tell y'all something. The delusion around a person like me is that you think you're getting so much information from me that you ready for this thing called life. That you ready for this thing called spiritual streets. And that is far from the truth. And you ain't going to recognize that until you get out there. By that time, you done already burned down bridges because the average person ain't really there for leadership, ain't really there to learn. Learn. They have a certain level of ego. It was no accident that Korah rose up after Moses had did all the heavy lifting. I'm gonna teach you things that you ain't gonna find in the book. I know exactly what I'm giving out. I know exactly what I'm not saying. I know exactly what I know who's listening. So I'm gonna take a general aspect. I'm not gonna go into the depth of anything on social media. But I am going to let you know I know my shit. And I understand why to do something and why not to do something. And the people that don't listen to me are gonna always find themselves up in a health calamity. Because once you use your bodily fluids to do a working, and you are not able to keep that person dominated, and their spirits fight you back because they have a right to their own existence and their own timeline. What's up, my Boaz? Did I acknowledge Monique Popo? I hope I did. Well, if I didn't, my Monique Popo crab case. It is so important to understand that you are already, don't matter your tradition, don't matter your development, you are already eternal. Your energy cannot be destroyed. Minister Mario is just alive, just a much alive today than he was before he passed. All he did and all I'm gonna do and you gonna do is give up this flesh. But your energy, your consciousness, who you are, your personality, all that's still intact. And if you're gonna do a working like that on somebody, this is why when we watch vampire movies, they eternal and they keep following the same man or woman through one timeline after the next, because once you have merged your energy, one lifetime you may be lovers, the next lifetime you be enemies. You were mad about something before you passed away, and now when you reincarnate, now in this life you can't stand their guts, and you feel consciously, I don't even know that person. Or energetically, you know them, but consciously, you haven't been awakened. That's why in the movie Van Helsing, that's why Dracula kept calling Van Helsing Gabriel, because he knew who he really was. You got to understand why workers and people, they were born. There's an unraveling of their energy that allows them to be awakened or become enlightened. Anybody that relates to me in my church, magic is in your background. I don't care how secretive. You ain't, every one of the women, there's magic in my background. My baby mamas, whether they are awakened to it or not, whether they call it hoodoo or not, roots or not, it's somebody was practicing, or you wouldn't have been attracted to me. Anybody that's a part of my platform, whether you are developed, whether you proficient at magic, it's in your lineage, or you would not have the attraction to my energy. End of story. So I already, at a base level, understand the people that are going to gravitate towards me. What's up, my Boaz? That's why I'm sharing. If you don't understand why it is necessary for you to be a part of what's going on, because it is there to awaken you to your destiny, your purpose. Because that's the only reason you're here. You're not here because you are Monique. You're not here because you are Demetri. You're not here because you're Ryan. You're here because your soul had a purpose of why it wanted to be born in this timeline. And in those traditions, you awaken. These are the facts involved. You can challenge my perception. You can challenge a whole lot of things, but you can't challenge the facts. Because they're going to stand. Facts stand. Especially in the age of Aquarius. And so therefore, when you're utilizing that form of magic, whether it is hoodoo, rue, or obeah, you have a right to dominate your property. But when you start extending your domination, that's why I'm very careful of putting my certain products on my website, because I know that I'm responsible, because I have an understanding what that can really do. To dominate somebody's cellular structure, their own energy in their body. That's why it takes a lot of power to expel or exorcise a spirit from a person, because now that spirit is inside their body and they're draining their life force energy. The person is there consciously and subconsciously, but they're being dominated. And it takes a lot of power to expel a spirit out of somebody. That's why the church is full of crap when it comes down to casting out spirits. And they make people think they got that kind of power. You're expelling an energy that has been fed to that person, that has went through every cellular. Their blood has carried that person's essence all through their body. And you're going to cast that out? You're going to cast that out just like that, with no preparation. This is why Yahshua told the man, when y'all come out of him, don't damage nothing in his body. Because that's basically what he was telling them. Because a spirit can exit a person, a place, or a thing, but it can destroy why it is there. It can bring damage and harm because it's already inside. So when you teach and you share with people as though it is so simple, oh, if you want to exercise spirit, use the herb. Remember in the movie Poltergeist, Stephen was not spiritual at all. And that Indian medicine man blew that smoke into his system. And he didn't even understand what was inside him to protect him. And remember when that spirit, that poltergeist came for Stephen and he started choking him, his mouth open, and that spirit came out of Stephen's body and fought that spirit off. Because every spirit has a purpose of its existence on the earth plane. But remember, once that spirit came out of Stephen, he didn't have that protection. There are certain things inside my body to make sure that people can't put poison me from the inside. This is way more complicated than y'all out here putting the information out. And there's a reason why certain spirits are in attack. That's why we give certain blood in our ceremony. That's why our blood is taken in certain ceremonies. Because those spirits now have access to my cellular structure. And that's why when I call them, they're coming. And they're coming from within me. Not on the outside of me, from within. The kingdom of God is within you. Your armies are within you. Your energy is within you. And so therefore, you make sure that if you're utilizing your urine on something that somebody has devised against you, that you perceive will cause you. Don't be so easily influenced to do certain things. Understand why you want to learn, not microwave, but learn the lifestyle of spiritual. This is why when I teach my conjure class, when I teach the psychic class, that's why I don't rush in. Because I know what I'm sharing is eternal. That's why I told everybody in my conjure class, my beginners class, that you're going to have to be responsible for your energy. I'm not, because I'm releasing myself, because I know your ancestors hear me telling you the responsibilities surrounding this information. And you are going to be chastised, because those that know the truth and do it did not shall be what? With many stripes. Those that are ignorant still going to be chastised, but not to the severity of those that are being informed. So you can't pretend to God or the Lamar, whatever you call that chief apostle did not tell you, and you are operating in this particular working or ritual uninformed, because that's not the truth. I'm making sure that I do my part. And that you should understand that magic is nothing to toy with. Utilizing blood magic is nothing to toy with. So I want you to understand why we use urine to fight off hexes. Because the urine is sterile, meaning it's purified water. If it has went through the kidneys and the liver, it is purified water. And whatever, the water element is a purifier. And all the elements that are inside your water in your urine, some of it contains silver, certain metals. And when it hits that energy of that curse, normally it has the ability to overpower it. But I would not purposely add my urine to a working. Just like the beach water is full of for cleansing because of the salt, your own water. That's why I say, if you don't understand your energy, then you don't understand anything outside of you. You can call Yimiya all day long till you get blue in the face. You'll never benefit, because you don't have the understanding. You don't understand the significance. You lack the informed decision before you proceed in such a working. This is why on today, my day of power, burning my money incense, Jupiter energy, I know what's flowing through. This is the day, Apostle Eli, if you got issue with finances. This is why this works. This is why you build that type of energy around your finances. Because Jupiter brings luck. If you don't have my products and you claim that you down on your luck, so to speak. If you use today hyssop. Hyssop is ruled by Jupiter. Hyssop is a fire element, so it's a purifier, but it can bring in finances. It can bring the energy of, Monique said, burn money instant for me. Okay, I got you, honey. My pot is outside, but I'm gonna write it down. If you want me to burn money instant, I would do that for you today. But I want money blessing, Monique. I don't want. I want you guys to have the understanding of what it does. It sets the atmosphere for luck to be on your side concerning your finances or whatever Jupiter rules over. And because it's an air element, that energy goes into the direction of Sister Monique. And why you burn incense? Because you're building up on the astral level this energy, frequency, and vibration that works in your behalf. But you still got to make good decisions. Don't work against the very work you put into operation. That's what I'm saying. Your patterns. You have to correct your patterns so you are be able to benefit from the particular love work, the money work, the healing and health work that you do. But you have to have an understanding of your own bio energy. And you need to sit down and have those conversations with self. Whether you're a water element, air element, earth element, or fire element. This is always going to be significant. Essential in any practice that you get in. And the more you understand you, the more you're able to understand the ATRs. Knowledge of certain reasons, certain rituals or practices exist in the ATRs is to understand melanin, to understand your essence. Why we and some of my members are here. Why I have them to spit in their candles. So, Apostle, I didn't spit in my candle this time. I already got your essence. You are already a part of the spirit world with me. Can you continue to do it? Yes. But is there a need for me to receive your spittle again? Honestly, no. Because I already have your essence. My spirits have your essence. So anything, that's why you shouldn't be going from spiritual worker to spiritual worker. That's why you shouldn't be burning bridges, because now that they have your essence, I don't know if they tell you this, but they can affect your life. Because your spittle or your urine or your anything that has to do with your blood has to do with your essence. And that it means it has to do with your spirits, your ancestors. I'm not an unethical person. And I don't set out to hurt, harm anybody. And if you having sex with somebody, they already got your essence. Knee deep in your cavities. And, sir, she already got your essence. Your chemical laboratory is inside her DNA. She already got a connection. That's when you have sex with people, they have access to your energy. I hope you know that. It's a whole lot of people got my essence. But I do things to protect myself and defend myself. And luckily, a lot of people are now conscious who I really am. And so I use that ignorance to my advantage. And that's why I cleanse myself. So I can break that energetic cord. Yeah, that's another reason to be cleansed when you stirring up. Exactly. Because I'm tell you, just like me and other people, melanated people, some things you ain't gonna never stop. So you got to build up a regimen to protect yourself. Some things you slow down, but you still do. It don't matter what it is. If it's harming you or potentially could harm you, you need to be cleansing yourself. Cleansing is period is so very, very important in the ATRs. And this is why you don't want to utilize your urine, because it is a potent cleanser. But when you are not healthy, your kidney cannot filter your urine, and so therefore the alchemist inside of your body cannot produce the formula to defeat your enemies. If that makes more sense, your kidneys are a part of the magical energetic process in creating the watery urine that can defeat the work or harm that is against you. If you don't have certain ingredients, you can't really make that green bag. If you don't have certain ingredients, you really can't make that blockbuster candle. Because you need the energy, you need the enzymes that are in those plants. On my elixir over there is something. I done already resaturated my yard. Ain't gonna do it again on my day of power. That's why it is not good to challenge the spiritual immune system of a spiritual man or woman, because their energy and those blood vessels, white and red blood vessel, give out energy to protect the temple. And when you go in to try to hurt and become a virus, you're gonna get the ass whipping of your life. And this is why the return to center is, you see those people start deteriorating because they're utilizing parts of their essence, their personal essence. This is why we do spells and we attach it to graves. So if that work come back, it goes back to the spirit in that grave. Or we attach workings to trees, so it hits back at that tree. And that's why we, as a scientist, you observe your working. This is why when they gave Native American smallpox, they observed how to kill them, what those diseases were going to do to their bodies. This is why we talk about when syphilis was being given to melanated people in America. They wanted to see what syphilis would do. They were telling them that it was a vaccine, but it was really infecting their system. That's why most people that receive certain vaccinations, if they don't know what's inside their body, it actually puts a part of that virus in your body, so your body can build up a resistance for it. That's their common sense. But we melanated people know we don't need a virus. We got bitter herbs that can cleanse our system of viruses. White people work outside in. We work inside out. We ain't gonna never be on the same page. That's why burdock root is so essential, because it cleanses our blood, which helps our kidneys or our liver with some of the work. So the stronger I do rituals and exerting myself, I have to recuperate from that. And so therefore nutrients is so important. If your kidneys and your liver are damaged, how can you create the urine necessary to destroy a working? It all makes sense. But given our information, not without pros and cons, or you don't have an in-depth understanding, you don't have an in-depth understanding. Everybody don't have financial problems. Some people have enough money or resources or income. But Jupiter does more than finances. It brings luck in every aspect of your life. We're so minimal when it comes to conjure and magic or any form of magic, because we always monkey see, monkey do, and so therefore whatever our ancestors used it for, you ain't never trying to expound your knowledge or know-how or insightfulness of what these herbs, what these energies can really do. Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system besides the sun, but around her. So you don't think I'm maximize the power of Jupiter and how it expands because of the gases? So my ability to enlarge my territory, whether it's through the website, whether it is through, you understand, enlarging my territory or expanding the energy reach of me or my clients. It's like casting a wider and wider net. I'm just showing the wisdom, because they can't teach you what they don't know. Not only I know it, I excel in it. And I utilize the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding of my particular energy to make life better for me. Because I live a charmed life. And because of that luck, I can increase that luck. Just like you can increase something, you can decrease it. They trying to decrease my luck, where things won't work out for me, where my risks start harming me, because every Sagittarius takes risks. But luck also is on their side, and therefore they normally don't suffer loss because of taking risks. But if somebody's working against your luck, then you come out of synchronicity, and you no longer you in the right place at the right time, or you think about something and you move forward on that. All of that interferes, or they trying to interfere. Understand your energy is the best protection you can do. Whether you do hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, affirmation, it don't matter. I hope that the people that are a part of my conjure class, it's $175. If you're not a part of that class, you're doing yourself a disservice. The only reason you have currency, or what we call income, it should be with purpose. And the more you know, the more you see, the more better you can exist. I am trying to help melanated people understand the necessary reason why you need a leader, you need a teacher. And trying to come into your own without guidance, without people that you can reference, without having the understanding that if you do something like I did when I did graveyard work, it can be corrected, and therefore I did not have to suffer the consequences of doing, not that I did everything wrong, but there's certain things I did and did not place in the correct spot. Why it is important that if you bury something, you need to remember where it is. Because if something goes wrong with that working, you need to be able to go back and disarm that. It's bad to put a bomb in the ground and don't remember where you placed it. And you end up blowing up behind your own bomb. I'm trying to give you some wisdom. Why you need to know what grave you went to is essential. Why you need to know what spirit you called on is essential. Because it's the chemicals, it's the energy that was involved in that working. Why you leaving out, you use menstrual blood in a candle working. Why you left out that you use blood, menstrual blood in your candle work and you don't think it matters, it's a display of your own personal ignorance. Why you tired your mama work that don't like that man. She didn't like him when she was living. And now you going to her and you got his drawers buried at your mama grave. She gonna tear that man ass up. You ain't gonna never have no peace. She didn't like him. She did not like him. Your mama didn't like her. Getting your mama essence and putting it in a working regarding somebody she didn't like. What you think gonna happen? Why you don't understand the energy involved? That's why lying about who your ancestors are. When you hear people say my blood start boiling within me, that means whatever. I heard Monique, the comedian, say that it's certain things that she heard and she didn't. Maybe she knew, maybe she didn't. But she said my blood started boiling. When your ancestors, it's certain things going on around you, or you hear certain things, and you get angry, and a rage come out of it. That means that your ancestors ain't with that shit. Everything, your blood start boiling, or heating up, or becoming fervent inside of your body. Your ancestors ready to go to war about whatever that situation or circumstance. It's certain things that our bodies give off certain alerts or sensors that we know what time it is. I'm a very destructive person. I'm a person that can build, but I know a lot of my energy, I can be very, very destructive. Doesn't mean I can't be beneficial. I have to regulate my enemies because I have hot spirits. I have hot petrol of aloha. I have hot spirits. That's why they gave me a cool spirit for my head, even though I'm hot-headed. You gotta have a balance, and you gotta understand ATRS and what they're here to develop. And you need to understand that if you're gonna use urine in any aspect of magic, remember that's the eternal work. That's why we pass our properties down to our bloodline, because our essence is in the ground. Your ancestors before you already put the essence in the soil. This is why when you let family property go. This is why when I found out my grandmother's house was at risk, that's why even though I was not on the deeds, I fought for it, because a part of her essence was in that ground. And that's a part of my power and my working. I've been saying this all kind of ways. Black people, your level of ignorance, you can't afford it now. You need to get a class. You need to get that class. Because everything I teach, everything that I display is for melanated people. And $175 is dropping the bucket. It's going to be Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. Go to my website. All you got to do is book a beginner's course. And then after that, I'm going to prepare for the psychic class. I heard some melanated people on this live. Be honest, I didn't know that. It's lots of you don't know. Energy is everything. I've said this, I'm gonna say it again. Your melanin is the most valuable thing you got on planet Earth. The reason why the motherland is so essential to us, it's just like when Hera, on Thor, his sister, when they told them not to let her get back to Asgard, because once her feet touch that soil, she's gonna have the energy, the Ashe of the ancestors. The reason why even though I haven't been to Africa, I buy things that come out of the soil from Africa so I can pull on the energy. Once I ever get to Africa and a part of my ancestry is unlocked, this is why they don't want us to go back to the homeland. Even though some of the blood I have here ancestrally in the Americas, but I also have blood that dates back to millions of years. And if I can awaken that energy, you think I'm a force to be reckoned with, and I am. I'm going to evolve. I told you, my goal is to become one of the most powerful chaos beings that ever landed on this planet. Now, you got different goals. You want to find out how many dicks you can suck. You want to find out how much pussy you can get. You can find out how much money you can make. Hey, I'm going to get a little bit of all that. But my purpose is I'm trying to evolve and amass my energy. I love y'all. I hope this was helpful. And I hope that if you came in the middle of this, that you go back to the beginning of this video and do some personal evaluation. All right? God bless.